is Notsam Wrestling.
Introducing your host from New York, here is Sam Roberts.
Well, it's about time.
Damn right.
It's a big pay-per-view weekend. And the only way to celebrate a big pay-per-view weekend, remember we had original plans to do this every big pay-per-view weekend?
Dude, we talk so much shit.
And then we were like, maybe if we do it every year and a half, it'll work.
It's such a divorced dad thing. You're like,
Don't worry,
I'm coming to all your games. And you're like, all right, when's the finale? When's the last game of the season?
Yeah.
I'm going to make it, bud.
I'm going to make it. Yeah, no. Next season.
Next season,
Next
though.
season,
You're
opener.
still in high school. You're going to be on varsity. It's more important I go to that game.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Soder is here.
Hello.
Hey, Dan.
Very excited for the Royal Rumble.
Well, that's why I was like, if you're, let's say you only make it to one podcast this year to hype up one pay-per-view, this is the one, right?
I am very excited about this. I think I've explained this before on your podcast. Royal Rumble is when I come back to wrestling. I leave it at Survivor Series.
It's probably smart.
And then I come back at Royal Rumble.
So you just take 2 months off.
Yeah, but there's a lot going on. There's football, college and pro.
Now, do you take it off WWE or wrestling? Meaning,
oh no, I watch New Japan.
I think you're a terrible person.
I'm a terrible person. Now I
gotta see Wrestle Kingdom, bro.
I watch Wrestle Kingdom, but I also still watch occasional Raws.
Oh, okay.
The last Raw that I watched in full was when Finn won the #1 contender match, which I really liked.
And then it hypes you up, being like, I'm about to come back for the Royal Rumble.
But I've only been watching SmackDown for the last 3 months.
SmackDown's great.
Because Raw, it's been a real fast forward through kind of thing.
Yeah. Raw is starting to get there. I'd say in the last 2 weeks or so is when
they have most of my favorite, superstars. So it's
the thing with WWE is the issue is not a lack of talent.
No.
The roster's amazing.
Yeah, it's almost like who they give the more time to. It's like a rap album when it's a rap group like Wu-Tang. You're like, more ODB. How about a little less Raekwon?
Yeah,
on this song. Then more Raekwon and Method Man on the next one.
Right. I feel like there was no ODB at all on this song. Why?
Exactly.
You have him. Why wouldn't you use him?
Are you just disrespecting Ghostface like that?
Yeah.
You're just not.
ODB's not going to be here forever.
Exactly. But that's how I feel a lot about the talent. So I haven't really been. I've been fast forwarding a lot through Raw, but we were talking about off air. Royal Rumble is the easiest event to invite non-wrestling fans to.
Oh yeah, and that's like it's also the best one to have people who maybe they were fans when they were a kid,
exactly,
and haven't watched in their adult life, but once a year,
dude,
they'll come around. Like I remember, it was probably the 2001. I want to say Royal Rumble. I want to say 2001. It could have been later. But it was in the early 2000s. It was after 2000 for sure, because Royal Rumble 2000...
Was it the tail end of the Attitude Era?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble 2000 was the one with the taxi cab hanging off the thing, and it was in Madison Square Garden. Amazing.
Unbelievable.
But it was, because I think it was right after high school, probably. And I was watching Royal Rumble at my girlfriend at the time's house, and she wasn't interested at all. But I started looking around, and there were all these people that don't watch wrestling that they were invested in it. And I was watching at her house, and all these people were over, and that's the one that Goldust returned out of nowhere. He hadn't been around for years, and you're like, oh my God, it's Goldust. And then Mr. Perfect.
Oh yeah, the surprise entrance.
Yeah, and remember he had a little
that bad.
And he had a little run.
Yeah,
it didn't end up panning out, but he had a little run.
Yeah, that was fun. Those when the older superstars can come back and work.
Yeah,
like when Ricky the Dragon Steamboat came back. I want to say 7 years ago and actually worked like a couple matches.
When he did, because that was WrestleMania 25, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was
they brought all the legends out.
Yeah, it was supposed to be Jericho versus Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
And then Mickey Rourke blew it early and then backed out. And it was like, why would you screw us twice?
Yeah, but then Ricky the Dragon Steamboat came in.
Right, because they did, we're going to do the triple threat or the 3-on-1.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be Piper. I think it was Piper, Snuka, and Steamboat.
Okay.
And Piper and Snuka couldn't really move.
Yeah.
And then Steamboat got in with Jericho, and it was like, whoa!
It was crazy.
Where did this come from? And it was so good that the pay-per-view after that, they actually had to just do Jericho versus Steamboat rematch.
Yeah, because it was fun to watch. I mean, he got in there, and you're like, Steamboat couldn't go.
Yeah.
That's how it was like when Perfect came in 01.
Well, what about, and then there's the Royal Rumble when, at something like 58, DDP shows up in his DDP yoga shirt and just starts dropping diamond cutters.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was partially excited, but I've read enough of the dirt sheets to know I was hoping Kenny Omega would pop at like 23, 24.
This year.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't. He was on Being the Elite this week,
I know.
and it made me go like, oh,
Okay.
I feel like he wouldn't do Being the Elite this week.
Unless there is one massive fucking secret going on.
And it's weirder
I'll
things.
punch someone. I will punch someone in the face. If they like and you just hear that fucking New Japan weird, or like his music is kind of the Terminator theme, but not the Terminator theme.
Or the Bucks come out and they go, AEW has a TV deal
Yeah.
on the WWE network.
Oh, dude.
And everybody goes, what?
It's a dream inside a dream.
Yeah.
You incepted a wrestling.
We all just melt.
Yeah,
just
dude.
collectively. It's like we've reached the pinnacle of wrestling fandom. There's no place else to go.
You can't move anywhere.
But what we were talking about was, like, I was gonna say that I was bummed because I know that you're working this weekend. You're gonna be in Atlanta doing stand up.
I will be at the Punchline in Atlanta for 6 shows, 3 on a Saturday. It's gonna be brutal. Come by.
Because at first, it was selfish because I was like, you should come and do my show in Phoenix.
Yeah,
you know,
which
my
would've been
pre-Royal
awesome.
Rumble show with Corey Graves.
It would have been a lot of fun.
But then I was like, oh, I wanted you to just come to the Rumble. Because in my head, you had been there last year because I guess you had planned on going.
Oh, dude.
Because I remember...
I rented a car.
Right. It was in Philly, right?
It was in Philly.
And I remember seeing Michael Che, and I remember in my head it was, well, Soder and Michael Che go to these shows together.
Yeah.
I know I talked to Che right after the Rumble last year, so I must have talked to Soder, and then I started getting, because I saw both of you together at Raw 25.
Yeah.
And so I started getting everything mixed up because then you reminded me you weren't there last year either.
Dude, I didn't watch the Royal Rumble until Monday. I missed it.
Yeah.
I missed it because Che and I are both 49ers fans as well. He grew up liking the 49ers to piss his brother off, being a New York Giants fan. I grew up because my dad's from the Bay Area. We're both massive 49er fans.
His reasoning, a little more toxic than yours.
It's so great.
Yeah.
It's the most Che reasoning ever to
It
like
really
a football
is.
team. I love that he does
And he
it.
stuck with it.
I just did. It's just that what a commitment to spite. So the Eagles, this was the year that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, last football season. I got tickets to 49ers Eagles. 49ers were playing in Philly. Big J, Christine, myself, and Che were going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Che ran into some work shit, could not head down on Sunday. So he's like, dude, I fucked up. I'm sorry. I know you bought a ticket. I ended up giving it to a friend. But he's like, Royal Rumble on me. Like, we're going to the Royal Rumble. It's in Philly. Let's fucking go. We'll go back to Philly, and this time I'll go. Fucking brilliant. I'll rent a car. I love driving. Love to drive down to Philly.
It's a good drive.
Great
From
drive.
the city, perfect.
It's easy.
It's perfect.
Plus,
I love
you can
it.
get a bunch of Wawa and take it back with you.
Oh, yeah.
There's all like
You
shit
can get
food
sandwiches.
reasons.
You can get food.
Apple
you can
fritters,
get, you can
gas.
get shirts.
Oh my god.
Wardrobe.
Don't sleep on those hoodies.
Right.
Buy a Wawa hoodie. It is so fucking comfortable.
Right.
So I have a lady friend visiting the weekend of Royal Rumble, and she's leaving on Sunday morning. So she leaves. I take her to the airport at like 6 in the morning. I go and get a rental car, and I come home to sleep a little bit. And I park my rental car out front, and I'm like, I'll wake up at 2, shower. Monroe Martin, who's another comic, who you hooked up with a ticket
Yep.
for Royal Rumble.
I like Monroe.
Monroe's great. And Che and Monroe are supposed to come over to my house at 3. We're going to drive down to Philly, park, get some cheesesteaks, boom, boom, go in, fucking see the first ever 30-woman Rumble. Super excited about it. I go to sleep at 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
8:30 a.m., I wake up and I throw up.
No.
And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Because it was a quick throw up. I was
Right.
like, well, what the fuck?
That's an odd thing. Did it happen?
Let me lay down. Maybe I'll feel better. Half hour later, I wake up, shit my brains out.
No.
I'm like, oh no. No. You know, have you ever...
I'm sure this is just a morning thing.
Yeah, I'm pregnant. Have you ever slid on ice in a car and
Sure.
hit another car?
No, I've come very close, though.
When you hit another car,
Yeah.
that's the feeling I got from what this, because I was like, no. And it was like, boom! And I shit and threw up violently
Simultaneously?
for 7 hours.
Oh, no.
It was one
And it
of
was the absolute worst 7 hours possible.
I mean, I immediately called Che and was like, dude, I can't go. I'm throwing up and I'm shitting. And he's like, okay. I tell, Monroe's coming with us. And he's like, cool, Monroe will sit with me. So Monroe got bumped from fucking which are good tickets, to behind the broadcaster's booth.
Take a chair home tickets.
Yeah, he took a chair home.
Yeah.
Took a chair. I was really wanted that
Soder chair home.
I really wanted that Royal Rumble chair.
Yeah.
So I just, I watched the first match, and I was on the couch, and I, nested, because I was filming Billions the next day at 5 a.m. And so I'm throwing up and shitting.
But your original plan was to drive all the way to Philly, enjoy the Royal Rumble experience, drive back home, maybe sleep for an hour and go and do Billions?
I was planning on sleeping about 2 hours.
See, I would have loved that, because then we could have all gone back to that episode of Billions and
tried
to see you as a mess.
Just loafing
all
the whole
because
time.
of the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking bad. And the doctor called me, because I called the assistant director, and I'm like, hey man, heads up, I'm shitting and puking violently.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, the doctor calls me, he's like, listen, I forget what it's called. It's a specific thing that they get on cruise ships. He's like, oh, you have this virus. You're going to just throw up and shit. He's like, you're not going to be able to keep down food, drink water. Can you get Gatorade? So I got Gatorade and water, and I had a friend take my rental car back, which was the worst.
Because then you know it's over.
Because I was like, here's $20. Will you take my rental car back to LaGuardia? And he's like, yeah. And
I don't need it anymore.
Oh,
I had a whole adventure planned out, and I don't need my car.
I don't get to see wrestling. I don't get to eat Wawa.
No, and then you're like, well, maybe the Royal Rumble will suck. Dude,
wow, what a Rumble! I came back. I stayed off social media. when I was sick.
It was not spoiled.
So it was not spoiled.
So you watched on Monday, no spoilers?
I got done with filming after 10 hours, and I was still sick. I still felt shitty.
And Damian Lewis wasn't like, oh, did you see Nakamura win? Why did you do it, Damian?
God damn it, Axe! I just fucking stone cold stun him. Yeah,
And Paul Giamatti jumps in, and he's like, an Oscar, the women's, huh?
I was like, no, double Asian winners? Who would have seen that?
Yeah. And why didn't any of you guys invite me to your viewing party?
Oh my God, I didn't know we could share everything. Yeah, dude, I stayed off the grid and saw all the Royal Rumble, and then was so mad during the triple threat match between Braun, Brock, and Roman.
That sounds right.
It was Braun, Brock, and Roman. I look, and Braun's going to throw Lesnar on a table, and I just see Monroe and Che watching, and I was like, I took a picture of Monroe, and I was like, I'm looking at your dumb face, and I missed Royal Rumble because I had some stupid boat virus.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm sure nobody had a good time, because I remember that night, and on the way out, they were leaving, and Che just looked at me, and he goes, in a state of euphoria, and he goes, Sam, man, that was so much fun.
Oh.
He just had such a good time. And that was one of the ones, I actually went out onto the floor to watch both men, but the men's Rumble match, when you're sitting there and you're looking at the final four.
Dude.
And it's
Roman and Shinsuke. So it wasn't a triple threat. Roman wasn't in the triple threat.
No, he wasn't.
It was Shinsuke, Roman,
Cena,
and one other person that I was like, okay, if he wins, I'm cool with it. AJ?
No.
Or was AJ in that triple threat?
AJ was the champion.
Yeah.
AJ might have been in the...
Yeah, because I was thinking it was Nakamura, AJ, and I was like, they did it. They fixed wrestling.
But yeah, the final four was it was Roman and Cena, and then Nakamura, and somebody else that was a fan choice. Balor. Balor was the other one.
Because I was like, man.
And you're looking at it, and it's the fan's choice versus the company's choice.
Yeah.
And then right before that, the final six had been Cena, Orton, Mysterio.
Oh, crazy.
And then Balor, Roman, Nakamura, and you're going, oh my God, it's this era versus the Ruthless Aggression era. It was just perfectly done. And then when
one of the best Royal Rumbles probably of the last 5 years.
Definitely.
The best in the last 5 years, it was the best Royal Rumble.
Certainly in Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and
The Rock didn't get booed that night.
Yeah. With this confused look, what is this sound you're making?
I don't like it. This reminds me of, is my name Rocky Maivia?
Yeah. Did you see my cheat day post on Instagram?
Guys, the sushi train pulled up. Why are you booing me?
I'm watching Netflix on my laptop and eating pancakes.
Shout out to my hombre, Jeff Ross. I'm eating pancakes and eating cookies. My secret cookies. Why are you booing me?
I don't understand. But yeah, when Philadelphia collectively realized that Nakamura had actually won the match.
Crazy.
And it was just this feel. It was just adulation. It was just everybody feeling like we got one.
We got one. They finally gave us one that we cared about.
And then to go into the women's match, have it was just so perfectly done with all the legends coming back and blah blah blah. Have Asuka win.
Great.
And then the Ronda Rousey surprise.
Yeah.
Which was a legit surprise. She was hidden all day and everything.
But I'll tell you this, really showed that she's not good behind a mic.
In that moment.
Because that was the Lassie. She just kept pointing at WrestleMania. And you're like,
Right.
What is it, girl?
But
what is it? Someone's at WrestleMania? She's like, you're like, no, are we fighting? She would smile, and then she'd be like, just to WrestleMania. You're like, stop, Ronda.
But that was also, and people forget now, that Royal Rumble led to us being like, I'm really excited that Ronda's here, but all of a sudden I'm not sure about Ronda. And then from that Royal Rumble all the way until WrestleMania, people were like, this isn't going to work. This is not going to work.
WrestleMania, everyone was like, this sucks.
And then the match at WrestleMania.
Great.
That's another one that I went out into the crowd for.
Triple H, Stephanie versus Ronda and Kurt Angle.
And it was like, oh my God, she's here.
She's really great in the ring. If you keep her protected with someone behind a mic.
I think she's been way better behind the mic now that she's actually had stories to tell.
But what's even better is how fucking great Becky Lynch has been doing.
I mean,
the best thing in wrestling.
Come on,
best thing in wrestling.
I'm almost
best thing in wrestling. It's not even. You could try to say AEW is cool. It's cool that they're starting a new promotion with Jericho and all these awesome guys.
But it's like Facebook in the Facebook movie. We don't know what it is yet. We don't know what it is.
We don't know what it is. But Becky Lynch, man, we know that she's the man.
Yeah.
And you got to come for the man's belt. And to set that up, if they headline WrestleMania.
Well, you sit there and you go okay, you're trying to figure out how to get there. Because you're going, I want Becky Lynch to win the women's championship.
I also want her to take on Ronda Rousey.
But I also want her to win the Royal Rumble. So
why can't you do both? Why doesn't she win the Royal Rumble then just turn around and win the women's match? I don't know, man. I just let Becky win everything.
That's the thing.
You want Becky to win everything.
But realistically...
Because it's got to set up the Ronda Becky now if we're going to do it at WrestleMania.
So, realistically, okay, there's only a few ways to get there. Either Becky has to lose to Asuka, secretly enter the Royal Rumble, and win. I love Asuka, too.
I want to date Asuka. I want her to be my wife. She's crazy.
Yeah.
Dad! What are you doing? Sorry, baby.
You look at Asuka and you're like, she's the one.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. I love Asuka very, very much myself. But you either have to have Asuka beat Becky, and then Becky enters the Rumble and wins, or
what?
You have Sasha Banks
beat Ronda. They wouldn't do that.
And then Ronda enters the Royal Rumble and wins.
I mean, either
that's like, what's more likely to happen?
Do you think they'll do the championship matches before the Rumble?
See, it all depends on what's going to happen in these things. And that'll be like a good indication. Like, this is one of those shows where match order is so up in the air. Because it depends on what happens in the matches. Like,
why am I blanking on who's the Intercontinental? It's Seth versus who?
No Intercontinental.
No Intercontinental this one, right?
Because there's a Bobby and his glutes. Because Bobby Lashley is the Intercontinental champion.
Oh yeah, from the Triple Threat match,
the new one
on Raw. That was a great Raw.
It was great Raw. He's going to be showing off those glutes.
Yeah.
In the Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah.
In the Royal Rumble match itself. Seth is in the Rumble.
Is Nakamura and Rusev in the Royal Rumble because they're doing the U.S. Championship on the kickoff show?
They are doing the U.S. Championship, so they have not been announced to be in the Rumble.
Okay.
But they obviously haven't announced everybody that's in the Rumble.
Yeah. You think any legends come back?
They have to.
They have to.
I don't. Well, I don't know. You think about, it's so random because, last year, they came with, first of all, there'll be some NXT guys, theoretically, right? Like, Adam Cole showed up in the Royal Rumble last year.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. You think EC3 comes out this year?
Probably, but that wouldn't be technically the NXT pick because he's been lingering on the main roster.
Ricochet.
Could be Ricochet. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Velveteen.
Love it.
But think about it this way.
Love Velveteen Dream coming out.
I don't think he has a match at TakeOver.
Yeah.
And that's been kind of a storyline where, I'm not showing up unless you realize my worth. Imagine if Velveteen is not at TakeOver, has no match, no mention of Velveteen at TakeOver, and then all of a sudden, we're at number
Velveteen
17.
Dream.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
Phoenix would go wild.
I mean, dude, if you heard that, Velveteen Dream. You mean, dude,
Dream.
he's great.
Yeah.
That's a guy where you're like,
And the Royal Rumble would be a perfect sort of spot to just kind of showcase him. He doesn't go to the main roster after that. He's still at NXT, but just for an evening.
Has he had the NXT title?
No.
He hasn't had the title yet.
No. The title has not left the waist of Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah, who's great.
Amazing.
Great.
But so is Aleister Black. Gargano's amazing right now.
Yeah. I mean, NXT is...
So good.
Let's just say it. It's the best.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. It's NXT events like TakeOver. I'm gonna watch on Monday because Dan St. Germain. As I said, I gamble on the Royal Rumble, and you reminded me this. You told me this before we were on air. Now I can gamble on 2 matches,
2 Royal Rumbles, right? And you won't have your cruise ship sickness, so you can do it in real time. And
oh man, please don't knock on wood. Oh, dude, I'm so fucking nervous about that.
So when you gamble, So the only time that I've ever had friends that do this, I'll be at their house and the gambling is done on numbers.
Yeah, so you basically have. You see how many people you have. I'm thinking I'll probably have 10 people over at my house. So that gives people 3 numbers each. Usually do 3. If you're getting 3 numbers, it's $10 a person, $10 a number.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to buy 3, you can. If you want to buy 1, you can. But then your extra ones go back, and then people can bid like, all right, the most you can have is 4. I won't let you have more than 4.
So what if there's a number that nobody's picked?
Well, what you do is you do all 30 numbers, and then you put them in a hat, and then people pick their numbers.
But what if there's not 30, meaning if somebody's like, I only want to enter one time.
Yeah, well, then we figure that out beforehand.
Yeah.
Because we'll be like, all right, this person gets 4, this person gets 4, you're only taking 2.
Gotcha.
This person's taking 3.
To make sure that everything's spoken.
Yeah, and you write it down. You're like, this person gets 3 numbers, and then you give them their numbers. And then that's what I'm saying. When people who don't care about Royal Rumble, they're like, I want 14. I'm like, bah! And you're like, fuck.
Right.
I had number 1. I had Rusev. Remember the year he was under the ring? And he came
like,
back.
Oh
and
my
Roman,
God.
I was like, I'm fucking doing it. Then he lost. I was like, of course Roman won. Fuck. Because my friend had Roman Reigns. I was like, and you won. But then you reminded me that I get to do that this year with the Women's Rumble.
Double shot.
Fucking A.
Numbers aside, do you have a person that you'd like to see win the 2 Rumbles? Like, I was kind of racking my brain, and what you have to think about is I feel like there are more options for Brock at WrestleMania. I mean, theoretically, if Brock keeps the title against Finn Balor, which one would assume will happen.
I want Finn to win it so bad.
Well, so
and
do
I
of
know
course.
he's not going to.
You and I believe in Finn Balor.
I fucking love Finn Balor.
He's the greatest.
We were at SummerSlam when he originally won it over Seth Rollins.
Yes.
You and I were sitting together at SummerSlam.
Although that's when I did for half the show do the Ditch-a-Rooney.
Oh, you Menudos?
Yeah, and I went to the take-home chair section.
Yeah, I know.
Remember?
But you got me a chair.
That's right.
You got your boy a chair.
Of course
so
I did.
that's fine.
Yes,
I didn't care.
Yes, yeah.
And it was a great hang.
Right, and I told you, I don't want to leave you, and you were like, dude, go.
Yeah. And I
when
was like,
Maria Menounos invites you downstairs, go downstairs.
You go. Just give me a chair on the way out.
Yeah.
And that was it. You're like, I got 2 chairs. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I tied my shoes on that chair today. It's in my living room.
Good.
All I have is fucking wrestling chairs in my house. You wonder if I'm going to die alone. And it's just like, oh, okay. It's all wrestling chairs, not a regular chair in the house.
But when you have people over for the Rumble,
they go, this is on brand.
Right.
They go,
you plan this for the party?
Sure. Yeah, why not? I'm not in it all the time. Yeah, I'm really so I would like to. I'm a Miz guy. I fucking love the Miz, but him and Shane are going after the titles, the tag titles.
Here's the thing that I brought up. I was talking about it earlier today because I think kind of the most likely is that Seth Rollins wins the Rumble and goes on to WrestleMania to face Brock Lesnar.
Great,
which I would love.
Love that.
Like, if that is the most likely and predictable thing, I'm happy with it. I'd love to see Seth win and fight Brock Lesnar and do the whole thing. But you're sitting there and you're going, who do they have for Daniel Bryan after AJ Styles?
I want AJ Styles to win it back.
Okay.
I want AJ Styles to win it back.
AJ Styles wins it back, and then maybe who wins the who on SmackDown? What's your SmackDown WWE Championship match?
So I think
for WrestleMania.
I think you do a flip of last year. I think you take the winner of the Rumble and put him against Brock.
Okay.
A la a Seth Rollins versus Brock.
Sure.
Then you do the Elimination Chamber for SmackDown.
Sure.
And then that way you can build a little bit of a storyline in 2 weeks
Right, between January and February.
See who wins, Bryan or Styles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then kind of build it up, because that's what they did last year with Brock. They were just like, "Oh, cool. We obviously Nakamura Styles. No one wanted to see Nakamura Brock.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see Nakamura Styles. Everyone said that. So they're like, "Fuck." When they gave us that match, we're like, "Yes," even though that low blow was dog shit.
Although at least it freshened up Nakamura a little bit.
It did. It was a good heel turn, but
yeah.
it could have been. They could have done a more substantial heel turn.
So the other version of this is what would happen if Miz and Shane have this thing going on right now, right? But it's kind of
it's built to break.
It is. It could be, but we felt the same way about Sasha Banks and Bayley, right?
True, and they're going. Who are they? It's Natalya and
it's Sasha and Ronda.
Oh yeah, Sasha
Yeah,
Ronda.
Yeah, but so Miz and Shane, it feels kind of good guy-ish though, right?
Yeah,
like they have a real camaraderie. So what if the Miz won the Royal Rumble?
Yeah,
and
then
a good guy Miz challenged a bad guy Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania.
Crazy.
And on the way,
I would fucking love that. A babyface Miz
and a bad guy Daniel Bryan. And
how you do it is you have to stick with the Miz on that SmackDown Live promo where he fucking laid into Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I work my fucking ass
And now
off."
it's sympathetic.
Come on, Sammy!
And you're sitting there,
I fucking love that.
You're sitting there going, well, what about
if
Shane?
they can make it work?
What about Shane? Because the Miz and Shane have this whole thing. Does Shane turn on? No, Shane doesn't turn on the Miz because here's what happens. Literally this week on SmackDown,
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan was tearing down Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
Who would be pissed about Vince McMahon getting torn down?
Shane.
So what if there's one pay-per-view between well, actually, no, I guess they're both dual branded now.
Yeah.
There's two pay-per-views. But you go, okay, so what do you do between...
Wait, what are the two pay-per-views? It's Elimination Chamber and what else?
I think there's a fast lane or something in there.
Oh, balls of fire?
Something
some
like that,
shit,
yeah.
Some fucking garbage thing they threw together?
Maybe there won't be because it's dual branded now. But I think that there's there's two pay-per-views before WrestleMania. But you go, well, what do you do between Miz and Bryan on the way to WrestleMania? And that's when Shane is there to not only support his partner, but avenge his dad.
Yeah.
And for February, a good guy, Shane McMahon, versus a bad guy, Daniel Bryan.
Unbelievable.
And now Miz, not only is he getting this match because of their history, but he's also going to avenge his bestie.
It'd be crazy to turn it around. It'd be crazy to have a heel be a babyface.
But it's there, right? I mean, the potential. I would never have seen this coming in a million years, but Daniel Bryan's such a good bad guy.
Do you think there's any chance of hearing a
I don't know.
I mean, that pop happens during the Royal Rumble. It's going to be the only time where people want the Rumble to go to Reigns.
It will be even bigger. It will be bigger than, so what was it, 2000?
If you came back with a shaved head looking badass.
Yeah.
Without a bulletproof vest, just a fucking top.
Yeah, or just the chest showing.
Just show the chest.
Show the
Ambrose
pecs
is
off.
do it, dude.
Yeah, you're
everyone's
in good shape.
doing it.
You're in
Come
good shape.
on.
But it would be as big. The other Royal Rumble.
I would pop. I never think I'd pop that hard for Roman. Like, ah, fuck! What the fuck?
Well, when Royal Rumble returned to Madison Square Garden after 2000, this was like, I don't know, several years later, and that was the Royal Rumble that number 30.
Yeah.
And it was like the reaction was so amazing because people were so surprised. Cena was injured, and he was supposed to be out for like 7 months, and it had only been 3. And the reaction was so crazy because we were still all booing Cena, especially in New York.
Yeah.
But people were so surprised. It was the biggest boo. Go back and watch it because people are so excited that they forgot that we're supposed to boo. They go, ah, boo.
Fuck, I hate him.
Yeah, but I'm so happy.
But I'm so happy he's back. Do you think?
But this would be bigger.
It would be crazy because the pop would stay. I think.
But I think. So. It wouldn't be boo. It would be
Everyone would be like, bah! I mean,
he still probably shouldn't win, but yeah.
No, one of my favorite wrestling things is just when the music hits. When The Rock came back on Raw, how everyone lost their shit.
To when he did that thing with
Cena.
Yeah.
When he just came back after 8 years.
Yeah.
And just on Raw, it was just fucking, you just heard the music break. The Royal Rumble's
Even
last
when,
place that can really happen.
Even when Shane came back.
Crazy. Yeah.
A couple
people
years
went nuts.
ago.
Yeah, when he became the GM.
Right.
People went nuts. Do you think Kevin Owens comes back?
I mean, again, so like I don't know any of the health of anybody. We're just speculating. I think that's way more likely than Roman.
Yeah, I think you hear Kevin or Sami Zayn.
I mean, who knows? Maybe AJ Styles beats Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens comes back and wins the Royal Rumble and we head to WrestleMania with AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens. Who knows?
That's another fandom.
But I'll tell you this, if Kevin Owens does come back, it needs to be the badass NXT version, Fight Owens Fight.
Fight Owens Fight. Bring it back.
Like I'm going and I'm going to injure Sami Zayn and I'm going to injure this person like
just
I'm
be
a
like,
badass.
you guys still are disrespecting me. I've had everything and you guys still don't. Yeah.
Right, not
like
that chicken
angry
bad guy, angry bad guy.
Yeah, not chicken bad guy. Angry Kevin Owens who looks like Big J.
So there was I was going through footage of all kinds because when we do this show in Phoenix on Friday, I'm going to play some clips from Royal Rumbles and stuff and just kind of, reflect on the moment. So I've been watching a bunch of stuff. First of all, if you go back on the WWE Network, so you and I were talking about Superstars from '92 being added.
I have it on in the apartment playing, and then when I see something, I unmute the TV and I watch it, and I'm like,
dude,
all right.
It's so good.
I mean,
it's my childhood.
Yeah, it's perfect in McMahon.
Yeah,
but then they do a wrestling challenge, and it's Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby. So they do like 3 superstars and then like a wrestling, or 2 superstars and then like a wrestling challenge where it's like a bigger event.
Where
it's a longer show. It's like 2 hours.
Oh, really?
It's unbelievable because they recap a lot of the superstar stuff, and then they have like a big match. It's when Marty Jannetty shows up and hits Shawn Michaels in the mirror.
Right.
That was a wrestling challenge.
Right.
I don't think that was a Superstars.
But on the episode of Superstars, they show wrestling challenge.
Yeah, they just show.
Oh, okay.
It's just an episode of wrestling challenge,
Okay,
but it's under the Superstars thing.
Gotcha.
But man, is that my childhood?
Yeah.
I mean,
especially that year. Like that's when.
And I realized that Nails was in fact scary.
You're scary as hell.
That voice I thought was modified.
No,
it's
it
deeper
wasn't.
than mine.
And then he shows up and he's actually like you bought into the beatdown that he gave the boss man.
Yeah.
But
where did he go after that? They just did that one run and then they're like,
he assaulted Vince McMahon in real life.
No shit.
That's the rumor. I mean, that's the legend.
Yeah.
That he was like mad that he didn't get more money for one of the pay-per-views, and like they caught him like literally jumped over the table and started choking Vince McMahon. And they're like, you can't. What? You can't do that.
The guy runs the company. You fuck.
You're definitely fired.
Yeah,
like
get
for
out
sure.
of here.
For sure.
Get out your locker.
But there was so much like weird stuff because I was also watching Royal Rumble from '93. And 90.
Is that the first? No, it's not the Ric Flair. Ric Flair was 91.
No, that was 92.
92. Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. 92 starts off on a real high note. But 93, Ric Flair is in the 93 Rumble, but Ric Flair is out of the WWE by January 93.
Yeah, he's back to WCW.
Right. He did the Mr. Perfect career-ending match on like the 3rd episode of Raw or something like that. But I bring it up because, when you look at coming off of WrestleMania in 92, and you can see this on the episodes of Superstars, they have Macho Man as the champion.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Warrior is right there as maybe your top good guy, if not the champion.
This is before the Madness, right? This is before they teamed up.
The Ultimate Maniacs?
Ultimate Maniacs.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, that was like the end of 92. You have Psycho Sid as your theoretical big bad guy.
Yeah, great.
Coming off of that. You're building Papa Shango to be this super scary, like blah, blah, blah.
Dude, I was watching, there's a Papa Shango match on one of the Superstars, and they go to a kid's face who's legitimately shook.
I remember, so I was in the audience for SummerSlam 92.
Yeah, that in Wembley, right?
Yeah, and I was terrified of Papa Shango.
Yeah.
Terrified. I was 8, and I was like, oh my God.
He's an evil man.
There's voodoo in the room.
There's voodoo.
I know this is an open-air 80,000 seat stadium.
But there's voodoo in the room.
But still, there's voodoo in the room, and I can feel it, and this is bad.
When he made the Warrior ooze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, it was like such a big thing that it was like Papa Shango versus Ultimate Warrior and Psycho Sid. But by the time you get to the end of the year, and it's time for the Royal Rumble, nobody's left. Sid's gone.
Yeah.
Nails is gone.
Yeah.
Papa Shango is like curtain jerking and about to be gone. Macho Man is not talked about in that same sentence. He's not world champion status anymore.
Crazy.
Warrior's gone. The whole picture has changed, and you're sitting there watching it, and that's the 93 is the year that Yoko won.
Yeah.
And that was also the first year.
That was WrestleMania 9,
That was
right?
the first year, and people forget, 93 is the first year that the winner of the Royal Rumble went on to WrestleMania. That wasn't a thing before 93.
Yeah, they changed it.
Because 92, the winner got to be the champion. Ric Flair won the title.
He's won it outright.
And
well,
then,
who did they take it off?
Wow, that was it was Survivor Series 91. It was Hogan versus Undertaker.
Remember that.
Undertaker won the title.
And then they did Tuesdays in Texas.
And then it was declared vacant.
Weird.
Because
Hogan
Ric
left.
Flair interfered and blah, blah, blah.
And then Hogan left.
And they said the winner of the Royal Rumble is going to get the title. So you thought it'd be Hogan. And then Sid eliminated Hogan.
Crazy.
Hogan pulled out Sid, and you were like, whoa, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And you go to WrestleMania.
I remember being at a friend's house. And being like, that's not how it's supposed to end.
Right, what's going on
Like
here?
Sid eliminated Hogan, you're like, that's wrong.
There's been a horrible mistake.
Put it back. Put it back.
I refuse.
Put it back.
I refuse your premise.
It's like when Brock pinned Undertaker, you go, no, that was wrong.
Yeah, this is, I reject this.
Redo it.
Yeah.
Pass interference on the play. You guys didn't make the call.
But, yeah, but then you go to WrestleMania 8, and it's Hogan versus Sid, and it's Macho versus the champion of the world, Ric Flair.
Yeah.
But
That was the doctored pictures, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Rick and Liz.
Yeah, the towels, the
Yeah.
matching towels.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it was imposed. And I was like, smart Ric Flair.
Yeah, it was actually Randy and Liz.
Oh, Randy. That's the R
Yeah.
for Randy,
Didn't even
not
think
Rick.
of it. Yeah.
Oh, you fool. His real name's not Macho Man.
Yeah, first name Macho, last name Man.
That's great. He goes, for the towels, can we do him?
Yeah.
They're just in it looking at it. She goes, Randy. He goes, what? Come on, Randy.
Randy, your name doesn't start with the name.
Yeah, he goes, well, I didn't know, I never shop for towels. Just him upset doing husband shit with Elizabeth.
He's got a closet full of stuff that's embroidered with an M in
He
it.
goes, oh, man,
Yeah.
really wanted those towels.
Hope I don't have to replace the pillowcases.
Oh, man, if Liz and I split up, she's taking these towels. I will not dry myself with a towel that has an R on it.
No, because that's not your name.
Yeah.
It's Macho
Feeding
Man.
strawberries is hilarious.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was the most sensual part of those pictures.
Yeah, and you were like, oh my God.
He's like, he fucked.
But that was
He
also.
fucked. When you're a kid, and
Oh,
you're like,
yeah.
they ate strawberries, they fucked.
Yeah, I know what that means.
If I know one thing is that is a sensual food and that is a sensual act, and Ric Flair is a sensual man.
Oh yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he absolutely is. And that was the match when they were like, we're gonna go to WrestleMania, and there's gonna be a giant centerfold with Elizabeth, and it shows everything. You can even see the staple mark in her stomach. And it was like, whoa, that was uncalled for.
Whoa.
And then the match happens, and it was the first time you realized, oh, sometimes in wrestling there is no payoff.
No.
There's no centerfold. They just said it. It was just a thing they said.
Well, I heard on Bruce Pritchard on Something to Wrestle With that they were talking about that where they kept teasing the bikini, but I think that was that was Mega Powers exploding, right?
Yeah.
Where Elizabeth
She
was
ripped
going
off
to be
the skirt.
a teeny beanie.
Teeny weeny.
Yeah, bikini. And then he's like, yeah, we're not going to do that. That's such a boyfriend move where he goes, keep your clothes on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I fucking you never really think of that until you get into your 30s where you're like, Macho Man was a husband.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I would be the same way.
I'd be so jealous and controlling. Because when I was young, I was like, leave her alone. And now I'm like, dude, all right. Yeah, you're around a bunch of dudes covered in baby oil on steroids. You
Look
gotta
at her.
Who's going to protect your lady?
Who's going to protect her?
She wears ball gowns all the time. You got to step in front of that.
First lady of wrestling.
Yeah, come on. Have a
Yeah.
little respect.
Yeah. But before 92, the Rumble winner didn't go to WrestleMania. It was just a thing.
Yeah, there's like, I remember they bill him.
Congrats.
They'd be like, hey, he's the Royal Rumble winner.
Exactly.
But yeah, and I like this system more because it kind of sets up.
Yeah, it starts putting the season in place.
Yeah, that's why to come back at Royal Rumble.
But when you look at 93, and like, I mean, I'm sitting there watching, and there's just nobody. You're looking, and it's like
Doink.
Nasty Boy Brian Knobbs is like one of the top
Crush.
good guys.
Cobra Crush.
Yeah, Crush is there.
Yeah, no, I've been watching Superstars, dude.
So you know.
I know what ramps up to the 93 Royal Rumble. I'm in
when
October.
I was a kid,
Cobra.
I like to crush things.
Oh, man. Yeah, dude, you're so much better as the third member of Demolition.
But yeah, that was and that was the one where Macho goes for the elbow, hits it on Yoko, goes for the cover, No, but there's no cover in the Rumble. Yoko kicks out.
Yeah.
Macho does the oversell over the top rope.
Crazy oversell.
And Yoko wins.
Yeah. And then that set up
Bret Yoko.
And
which
then
was
Hogan.
actually Hogan Yoko.
Hogan Yoko. Dude,
Yeah.
that's so funny. Hold my beer. He's like, come on with the title, Bret. Can you hold that? He's like, cool. And you have a black eye from jet skiing.
Right. But you give it back to me later, right? And
Bret
he's like,
Hart is
Oh, yeah.
he's the boy next door that was perfect for you. And you're like, I want the bad boy with the yellow mustache. He's
Right.
like, okay. Well,
Right. You'll win next year, Bret. Well, actually, you and Lex Luger will win next year.
So you guys will have fun. It'll be a whole 3 thing. What's crazy is to watch Superstars is to watch Vince and Mr. Perfect keep a joke going for multiple weeks.
yeah.
Because they
well,
kept doing the Saskatoon because Ric Flair lost to Bret Hart, lost the title in Saskatoon,
Mhm.
which set up Bret, Shawn at Survivor Series 92.
Right.
So what's crazy is watching, first off, Shawn Michaels become a headliner.
Right.
That's
but
crazy.
Here's what's great is you can tell they're going there because Mr. Perfect, and you can clearly, like, knowing what we know now,
Yeah.
when you're watching it, you can hear the instructions in it. Like, you
Yeah.
could, Mr. Perfect keeps saying, Vince, I call Shawn Michaels the wrestler of the 90s. And I'm
Dude,
like, that's
And
intentional.
Gene Okerlund, when he's previewing it, he goes, Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, which I guarantee will be a classic. And you're like, yep, okay, you're not wrong.
You called it right this one, Gino.
Yeah,
You
R.I.P.
called this one right.
Mean Gene.
So, yeah, and really when you think about it, 93, Yoko wins. 94, you got the double elimination,
Yeah.
Bret and Lex. 95 was the Shawn Michaels and the 1 foot thing.
Oh, Shawn Michaels was 95. I thought the 1 foot thing was earlier in the double elimination.
No,
Oh, it was
because
95.
Shawn's 1 foot thing, he comes back to win that one. Everybody's like, "Hey, the Bulldog won," and Shawn's like, "You said both feet.
Oh.
I only had a 1 foot touch."
Oh, man. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
But it
it's
was-
that whole argument. You're like, fucking shut up.
I know you're not, but I still want to hit you.
Such a good heel.
I
Shut the fuck up.
I still want to hit you.
He's
I
like,
hate
I'm
you.
not touching you.
I
I'm
hate
not
you.
touching you. He's like, I fucking hate you. So much. I fucking hate you. So
You're having a panic attack.
Yeah, you're like,
But they did like the 2 quirky finishes 2 years in a row.
yeah.
They've tried that in the past. Like, for me, the 2000 Royal Rumble pay-per-view at Madison Square Garden is one of my favorites, but it's more because I like the Dudley Boys Hardy Boys table match.
Yeah.
I love the Cactus Jack Triple H street fight with the thumbtacks and everything. Amazing.
What if Triple H comes and wins the Royal Rumble?
I'd think that was awesome. I love Triple H.
Of course you do.
I'd be like, good for you, Hunter.
Hey, boss.
You earned
Good
this
job.
one.
You
Yeah.
sit in the back, you go, the boys are happy. What if they have the Taker win it?
I mean, stranger things have happened.
Dude, if Taker just comes in, or Kane, Kane would suck.
Yeah, that wouldn't be as good.
Yeah,
But how great would it be
Go
if,
be a mayor.
if Taker wins and you're like, oh my God, rematch at WrestleMania, Taker Brock, and then Taker goes, I want you, Daniel Bryan. You're like, really?
What?
Okay,
The smaller guy that didn't end your streak?
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm there for it, but I just didn't see it coming.
We've done best case scenarios. What's worst case scenario?
Winning this year?
Like both men and women's. You think Charlotte winning the women's and then coming and taking on Ronda?
If it's just that, because even if Charlotte won,
Mm-hmm.
and even if she challenges Ronda,
Yeah.
you're still holding out hope that somehow they're at least going to throw Becky in and make it a triple threat,
Right.
which is better than nothing,
Right.
you know?
But we all know what we really want. One-on-one, Ronda
Ronda
Becky.
Becky.
The man, the most dangerous woman in the world.
Literally, you
Headline
know,
it.
Becky Lynch being unconscious on her feet and bleeding is the best ending that Raw's had all year.
I mean, the fact that
We still want that paid off from Survivor Series.
the broken nose might have made WrestleMania much better this year because I was so excited for Survivor Series.
Probably, you know, worst case, I mean, you know, weird stuff could happen. Like, what if Nia Jax wins and is like, Becky,
True.
I'm coming for you.
I'm going to be
Because
the man. Yeah.
because they have set up a
I'm saying
Nia
worst
Jax.
case scenario. What do you think pisses wrestling fans off the most?
Ivory.
Ivory winning. Ivory coming in. Tori
Yeah,
back.
Yeah, I think
Natalya coming in and winning it.
I don't know. I think even if Natty won, there would be kind of this like,
Cool.
good for you.
Yeah.
We like Natty.
We really do. I really like Natty. What if it was like I'm forgetting her name, Mandy Rose.
Yeah, I don't.
I love Mandy Rose.
I mean, that's yeah.
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 That's my best case scenario.
I don't know what worst case scenario would be. See, it's not like we're not in this period of time where there's this anti-hero.
Well, there was Roman
as much. Right, like we're not
which made last year's Rumble great because you were like, fuck, they're going to give Roman again.
right, and then they didn't and you were like, that's great.
Thank you.
See, that's why this is the ultimate benefit of having of having two champions is that even if they want Roman to main event WrestleMania or the Roman type person, you're like, look, we're doing what we want for WrestleMania. I need you to understand this, but we'll give you Rumble.
How about Rumble?
What if we gave you Nakamura for Rumble? Then will you let us have our WrestleMania main event, please?
Okay.
You said we could have it. You started throwing beach balls. Why did you do that?
Why did you do that? I mean, Nakamura and Rusev probably won't be in, right?
I don't think so.
Damn.
And even if they were, they're not winning. I don't think.
Really botched Nakamura.
I mean,
Bring back the original song.
Well, the reason they can't have the original song is because people sing along.
I love it.
I know that's the point. He's a bad guy.
Nah, man, fuck that. Fuck that. That sounds great.
I like to cheer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the issue.
I don't like the short, jerky punk song where it's like, oh, and you're like, fuck this. This sucks.
But that's the point. You can't sing along.
I don't care.
I honestly believe that
I like
the
a guy
reason...
who can sing along.
I know, but you're not supposed to like him.
You think Hangman Page? Oh, he signed.
He signed to AEW. Yeah. Kenny Omega's not confirmed. People are talking about Kushida.
Okay.
Coming in. That's one of the rumors that's been floating around.
Okay.
But, like, the question is, it's like, do we have a Kushida debut at the Royal Rumble?
Or the Raw after Mania.
Right, because it's like, do people go like, oh, Kushida is here.
Put him in
That must
Mania.
mean Kenny Omega, right? And then it's like, oh, just Kushida. Like, it's cool that Kushida's here, but not as cool as if, like, Naito showed up or something. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God.
I mean, think about that. What if, like, Andrade's on the verge of elimination and Naito just comes out and you're like, Tranquilo!
Dude, Tranquilo back in action.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I mean, I really am. I will not. You'll know I'm the happiest boy in the world if Kenny Omega comes out at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people would be happy.
You will hear me scream from Queens.
All the way from Queens.
You're like, you make up. Soder's happy.
That's Soder, yeah. What's that sound? It's Soder.
Oh, he knew he was going to do a V-switch.
Yeah.
Just gets in the ring, bam, and then hits.
Here's worst case scenario for me.
You go, Kenny Omega showing up.
Kenny Omega showing up. Yeah, he sucks. New Japan's the worst. Wonky finish. Like, I just, there's been a few of them. Like, for me, the Royal Rumble 2000 match is forever tainted because that's the one where, like, I think The Rock won, but then within the next couple weeks, we found out that the Big Show was never really eliminated, and so they had to have that match. And it's
no
like,
swerve.
I don't want to
have a finish.
I don't want to do all that stuff. Like, I want to know who my Royal Rumble winner is. And even if it is somebody predictable, let's get there in a fun way because there's always fun ways to get there.
Man, you get to be right there.
I will be right there.
You'll be fucking
but you'll be watching on WWE Network. That's very, very fun.
Damn right I will be.
Yeah.
Betting, gambling, eating pizza, yelling for Kenny Omega. I'll have a Kenny Omega shirt on. Just in case I call it.
It's a reach.
Dude, but if he shows up, I look genius.
That's true. I knew it.
I said it, and I'm gonna be like Saint Germain and like a bunch of guys that are like, "Shut up, we get it."
Yeah. You went for the thing that none of us thought was gonna happen, but you just said it so that in the off chance that it did, you'd be
you blew it.
Be smart.
Yeah,
you
not
know.
even. You blew the element of surprise. You didn't. I don't know, but man, I hope Kenny Omega shows up.
I know you do.
He's got to. He's 36.
Well, maybe he doesn't
go get that money.
You would think so, but maybe he doesn't want to do it.
Well, here's the real reason I got excited about Kenny Omega, because I'm not a super idiot. I actually am pretty dumb. But someone said, like, what if they give him the Ric Flair deal? Like, come to the WWE for 3 years, headline with AJ, headline him at WrestleMania, which he said he's always wanted to do, take on Seth, get all the dream matches in there, take your heat to AEW after 3 years.
I mean, he may not want to wrestle full time.
So he doesn't have to at AEW.
No. I mean, he might not want to do 3 years of WWE schedule because he's used to this
sweet
New Japan deal.
Yeah, like 6-man tags on all house shows.
Yeah.
Why not?
Exactly. Instead of being like, oh, we're headlining Kenny versus AJ at every house show.
Oh, my God.
You're like, I have to do this every night?
He goes, this is 45 minutes. Yeah. Just pure damage.
Yeah. People really overestimated my cardio.
But
yeah.
Maybe he does.
He
Maybe
might.
we see the One Wing Angel take out the Phenomenal One.
Here's the thing. You never know. You know who we saw show up as a surprise at the Royal Rumble?
AJ Styles.
Yeah.
And no one saw that coming.
No, a few years ago. And that was when we didn't know, was he going to go to NXT?
Yep.
Is he even going to show up at all? And when it just says phenomenal across the Tron, and you're like, no. And they're calling him phenomenal? I know who's phenomenal.
And then he came out with that haircut, and you're like, damn it.
It's grown out, though.
Yeah, it's grown out beautifully.
It's grown out beautifully.
But when he first came out, you're like, oh, man. Cut that hair, AJ.
Well, Dan Soder, I know that now all the listeners will be watching along kind of in your head a little bit, which I love.
Well, here's a good thing. I took Twitter off my phone, so you can't fuck with me during the Rumble.
You can't.
No, usually I'd be on Twitter and people would be like, fuck this. I'm like, don't ruin it. But this one, I don't know, man. I'll check Twitter maybe on Monday after the Rumble.
Good.
Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe not.
Maybe
not.
Maybe not. But if Kenny comes out, I'll put it back on my phone.
Just to brag. I told you all.
I fucking told all of you.
I knew it. Idiots.
I'm the smartest man in the world. I'm not. I get it.
Like when Bobby Heenan kind of picks every heel to win, and then when a heel wins, he goes,
I told you.
I knew it.
I knew it.
I knew it.
Yeah, they just did that. He just did that with I was watching Superstars when Money Inc. beat Natural Disasters.
I knew it.
Because at first the Nasty Boys come up and fuck up Money Inc.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
he's like, this is a travesty. You can't have this. This is illegal. They beat him up. The match is going. And then they win. And he's like, I told you. I told you.
Just the greatest.
The best of all time.
The greatest. Dan Soder, you're the best of all time.
You're the
Thank
best
you
of all time. Have fun in Phoenix, dude.
for being here. I will have fun in Atlanta.
Come on out. Punchline. Again, 3 shows on a Saturday, 1 on Thursday, 2 on Friday. It's Sweet 3 on a Saturday. 6, 8, and 10.
We'll have a good time. You're going. It's Broadway, baby.
10 o'clock show.
You're going Broadway.
Get ready for some stool sitting and some question asking.
Yeah, we're gonna do a little Dan Soder comedy Q&A.
Yeah, we're doing my biggest inspiration. Probably says Mel Brooks.
Yeah, we're gonna do a comedy podcast where you guys are the host.
Fun.
Yeah,
I'm lazy.
My writing process is.
Okay. No, I'll actually have a show, but come on out to Atlanta.
All right, and thank you, Dan.
Thank you.